Hey, soul survivors. A lot of people tend to jump and say that their person was a narcissist. NPD is a specific type of personality disorder. We're going to go over the three clusters. So we're going to start with cluster A. It's important to understand the differences and to understand what's going on. So the first of cluster A is paranoid personality disorder. People with this disorder will exhibit a pervasive distrust and suspicion of others, and they often interpret benign actions as malevolent. So if you do something kind, they can see it as having negative undertones. You might be manipulating. They're hypervigilant and guarded, and this can lead to difficulties in forming close relationships. You have your schizoid personality disorder. People with this disorder tend to be emotionally detached, socially withdrawn. They prefer solitary activities and have a limited interest in forming close relationships. You also have your schizotypal personality disorder, and these people experience eccentric or odd beliefs, behaviors, or thought patterns, and that can cause difficulty maintaining close relationships, and often it can feel uncomfortable in social situations. So cluster A personality disorders are characterized by behaviors that involve social withdrawal, suspiciousness, and difficulty in forming meaningful relationships. People in this cluster may have limited emotional expression and struggle with interpersonal communication. So for cluster B, narcissists fall in that, but so does BPD, borderline personality disorder. People with BPD experience intense and unstable emotions. They have a strong fear of abandonment and often engage in self-harming behaviors. They may have difficulties regulating their emotions and forming stable relationships. So we got our NPD, our narcissistic personality disorder. And these people have an exaggerated sense of self-importance and a constant need for admiration. They may lack empathy and have difficulty recognizing the needs and feelings of others. You got histrionic personality disorder. People with this one often seek attention and have a strong need to be the center of attention, and they can display dramatic and emotional behaviors to gain attention from others. Antisocial personality disorder, ASPD. These people exhibit possibly a disregard for the rights and feelings of others, engage in impulsive and risky behaviors, and have a history of conduct problems. They may also lack empathy and have difficulty adhering to social norms. So cluster B are characterized by emotional dysregulation, difficulties in impulse control, challenges in maintaining stable relationships, and people in this cluster may have a heightened need for validation and struggle with maintaining boundaries with others. So we got cluster C, which is avoidant personality disorder, AVPD. People with AVPD often have a pervasive pattern of social inhibition, feelings of inadequacy, and hypersensitivity to negative evaluation. They can desire close relationships, but avoid social interactions due to a fear of rejection and criticism. And this fear can lead to significant social isolation. DPD, dependent personality disorder. These people have an excessive need to be taken care of, leading to submissive and clingy behavior, and they may struggle to make decisions independently and rely heavily on others for emotional and practical support. Obsessive compulsive personality disorder is often confused with obsessive compulsive disorder. So you have OCPD, which is different than OCD. So they are distinct conditions. OCPD is characterized by a preoccupation with orderliness, perfectionism, and control. People with OCPD may be overly rigid in their routines and have difficulty delegating tasks to others. So cluster C are marked by heightened levels of anxiety, often related to social interactions, self-worth, or the need for control. And people in this cluster may struggle with feelings of inadequacy and may experience discomfort in social situations. One sec. So if you are trying to figure out what went wrong in your relationship or why your person's acting a certain way, understanding who they really are can help. So what is the difference between obsessive compulsive disorder and obsessive compulsive personality disorder. The nature of the disorders. OCD is an anxiety disorder characterized by the presence of obsessions and compulsions. Obsessions are intrusive, unwanted, and distressing thoughts, images, or urges that repeatedly occur in a person's mind. Compulsions, on the other hand, are repetitive behaviors or mental acts performed to reduce the anxiety caused by the obsession. So people with OCD often recognize that these obsessions and compulsions are irrational, but they still feel compelled to perform them anyways. OCPD is a personality disorder which is characterized by pervasive patterns of perfectionism, excessive devotion to work, and a preoccupation with orderliness and control. So unlike OCD, OCPD is not primarily marked by intrusive thoughts and the need to perform specific rituals or behaviors to alleviate the anxiety. Instead, people with OCPD tend to have a rigid way of thinking and behaving certain ways that interfere with their ability to form and maintain relationships and function effectively in areas of life. So core symptoms, OCD, the hallmark is the presence of obsessions and compulsions, can be related to contamination, fears of harm, concerns about symmetry and order, and also themes. Compulsion, and those are the repetitive actions such as washing, checking, counting, repeating certain phrases, which the individual feels compelled to perform to reduce their anxiety. The core symptom of OCPD, the primary features include perfectionism, excessive attention to details, an overwhelming need for control, strong focuses on rules and order, and an inability to delegate tasks to others. So these people with OCPD may have difficulty expressing emotions, be overly conscientious, and struggle with flexibility in their thinking. Insight and awareness. People with OCD typically have insight into their irrational obsessions and compulsions. They recognize that their thoughts and behaviors are excessive and don't really make sense, which can lead to distress and frustration. People with OCPD often believe that their way of thinking and behaving is the right way, and they may not see their behavior as problematic. They might not have insight into the impact of their personality traits on their relationship and day-to-day life. So there are treatment approaches. OCD, they like to use cognitive behavioral therapy, specifically exposure and response prevention, known as ERP, and that's the gold standard treatment for OCD. Medications such as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, known as SSRIs, may also be prescribed to help manage symptoms. OCPD, they like to use psychotherapy, which particularly a psychodynamic therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy can be beneficial for people with OCPD. Unlike OCD, there's no specific medications approved for the treatment of OCPD. Medications may be prescribed to manage associated symptoms like depression or anxiety. And there are a lot of personality disorders out there. Not everybody who doesn't interact with people the right way is a narcissist, and personality disorders can lead to a lot of distress, failed relationships or struggled relationships. And if you struggle with anything, understanding what's going on with you can help. I do one-on-ones. Also, I have a video on free resources of different places to help find some guidance and healing that inner child. So I hope that was helpful. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon.